Howdy there, folks! How are y'all doing? My name is Reese. Welcome back to Tekkit Main, where hopefully this episode, things will go a little bit more smoothly compared to the last time. The last episode was a bit chaotic and a bit nonsensical, and that's mostly due to the crash that happened right close to the start. Well, I say right close to the start. In terms of the amount of time that I was sitting at my computer working on things, it was the start, but I don't know where it actually lands in the timeline. I was kind of skimming over things earlier, and I was like, oh boy, it's going to be hard to make this one make any sense because of the crash. There was a crash right at the start. Comparative, I suppose, relative to the length of the amount of time I was recording close to the start. That it took a long time to get kind of worked out. I don't think a lot of people realize. I didn't just rant against Razer for the fun of it. Ranted against Razer because I lost a lot of time. You know, I didn't really set a lot of time aside to record. I set it down enough time to kind of do the project I was wanting to do. It's just, as part of that, I didn't take into consideration, you know, okay, and what if it takes 30 minutes to get everything back up and running again? But hopefully that doesn't happen. Also, I went ahead and I used one of the default settings. Well, not one of the default. One of the non-custom settings, I guess I should say, for recording. Like, it still let me dial in the settings the way that I wanted in OBS. But I'm no longer using an FFmpeg custom output, which allowed me to use Apple's Video Toolbox encoder, which gives you access to the GPUs, which was great, but it didn't let me pause videos for some reason. So the settings we're using now are still pretty high, but they're not as good, and I expect that I will notice some differences in fidelity when I sit down to record, and I reckon that literally no one else watching this will be able to. We're going to throw those away. We don't need those right now. I should have emptied my inventory before I came back out here. We might be able to wait a darn minute. One of these things is more important than the other. Seeds we can get at any time. But I fully expect that by the time this video is uploaded to YouTube, aside from the color, which I've tweaked a little bit more to bring it down. I think I went a little too far in the last couple of videos, trying to get it nailed in there exactly the way it looks on the other videos. But aside from that, I think that once YouTube's compression has had a go at this, it's going to look probably identical to every other video in terms of overall quality. You know, color differences aside, it's probably going to be non-distinct. I don't think you'll see a difference. So throw all those in there. That'll get us a little bit of power. We're not running low relative to the amount of power we usually keep in our system, but still. Cook up that meat. I think we could put zombie brain in here, can't we? Doesn't it do something? Oh, can we not cook meat in here? What's going on? I thought oh, it's cooking up wood still. Oh yeah, that stuff we just threw in there. I'm pretty sure if we throw this in there to be cooked, it'll give us leather, which is more useful than zombie brain. What are we going to do with zombie brain? What was that? That's a visual glitch. That's all that is. There's not actually... Yeah, I didn't think so. That was quite interesting for a second. Alright, going to throw all of these things in here. Nice. And we'll throw the mushrooms in there too. I don't need to carry around all of this food. We'll start putting apples in here. I'm not doing sorting right now because I'm saving that for new base V2. But, just a quick couple of disclaimers before I pause the recording, because I can do that now, to just bring this entire forest to its knees. That's what I'm going to be doing. I could talk about Xenoblade Chronicles. I've been playing through those games, and I could bore you all with the details and my thoughts and my favorite waifus, but I think it'll be more satisfying to just show you the forest and then cut to there not being a forest. At least for me. Like, it'll be a nice cinematic sort of... When you see a beautiful wood and then it kind of cuts to the future in a slow fade, and it's like, oh my gosh, what have these people done? They paved paradise and they put up a parking lot. But, my gosh, look at the number of cars they can hold in that parking lot. It's actually rather impressive, so no complaints. Yeah, that's... All I did was unfortunately, you know, with Apple... We are now relying on CPU encoding, which works, and it looks good. CPU encoding has always looked good. You know, the problem is it puts a big old strain on the CPU, and usually, especially when recording, I know with streaming, you're almost always better off. The latest NVENC encoder has changed that, but you're almost always better off using your CPU for encoding. But when you're doing really high resolution stuff, better to put it on, or really high bit rate, I should say. It's better to put it on your GPU, because your GPU just has hardware better suited for that, and at the high frame rates, or the high bit rates, the quality isn't, the difference isn't as noticeable as the low, like, streaming bit rates. But, I mean, I can't use NVENC because it's a Mac. Can't just plug a NVIDIA GPU in there. I could if I wanted to do a dual boot, if I wanted to run, Windows in a VM, but I don't think it'll actually pass through that GPU. Well, yeah, okay, that's VMing. If I actually dual booted out of Mac into Windows, it would be able to use that GPU for encoding, and it would be like having two systems again. But that's just a bit of a hassle. What if I want to do a Mac thing while I'm recording a video? I'd have to get out of the Windows and go back into the weird, big old bunch of hassle. And the argument could be made that if I just had a recording PC, none of this would be a problem. But I don't have a recording PC anymore, so this is a problem. And also, a problem. What am I getting at here? What am I trying to say? Help me with my words. I'm struggling a bit. I've forgotten what I was going to say. I'm going to end it like this. We're going to come over here to the top of this hill. We're going to mark this spot with a torch. Look at this forest, everyone. At some point, I put some wood in the into the pulverizer instead of into the furnace. I don't know when I did that, but oh. So it's one for one. Well, what are my uses here? Paper. Apparently that's literally my only use for it. It cannot be used for anything else. Except maybe as a wood source? Can you burn? Oh, it doesn't say it could burn. I'm assuming it can't burn. We're gonna make the best of a bad situation. Also, I know that we were supposed to transition directly from the last shot to the forest being destroyed, but that was dumb to begin with. If I'd wanted to do that, I should have put a mark on the horizon of where to be looking so the shot could be lined up properly. What am I going to do with all this paper? Can't even burn it as far as I can tell. It can't even be used as a fuel source. I've just got a lot of paper now that I got to figure out where to store and what to do with. Look at this forest, everyone. Okay, well, I didn't clear out as much of the forest as I had hoped. I kind of wanted to get rid of it all entirely, so we just have an obscene amount of resources. But I'm starting to realize that this isn't really the best approach to get coal. We need a different power source. It's going to have to happen eventually. We cannot run on fumes. Fumes? That would be gas. We cannot run on coal forever. In the game, I mean, obviously I'm not talking real life. Real life, we've got plenty of coal. We got a long time. We're not running out of that stuff anytime soon. But also, we need to find a way to stop monsters from spawning. Our magma... What are they called? There's a torch. There's a type of torch that can prevent monsters from spawning. A magnum torch. That's the one. I believe it stops spawning in a 64 by 64 area, if I remember correctly, assuming it still does that. Glowstone torches look slick, though. And I guess they work without fire because, of course, you need them in space. So, but I just like the overall look of them. This, though, you need a chandelier. That's pretty affordable. The diamond part I'm not too sure about. But you need 5 of those, and then you need a potion of healing, which is glowstone, a glistening melon into an awkward potion. Wait, what? I'm confused. Go back to this. How do I make this? Is it a potion of healing 2? That's the secret. Instant health 2 and regeneration 2. So you take a regeneration and then you add glowstone. Okay, we'll work on that here in a bit. I don't reckon it'll be too terribly difficult to get managed. Meanwhile, things down here are progressing along nicely. We do have some gold, which we're going to need. We've got some diamond, which we're going... that's definitely iron. We don't have any diamonds, which is a shame, and I didn't expect this to extract any diamond for that matter. So I kind of filled these 2 up and then left these off, and the idea was, well, when I come back, at least it will still be running to a degree. And as you can tell, that was an accurate assessment. It is still working, because normally when I wander off, having done exactly what you see me doing now, when I come back, The machine's just off because it's completely out of juice. But this time around, it's still going pretty strong. We'll throw these in there. And then again, there will at least be one going when I come back. I'm almost positive of it. So that's going to move along much more swiftly. Eventually, it's going to max out. It's going to hit the bottom, and it's all going to be done with. And we can relocate it. But I can't, the water's preventing me from seeing how far down we need to go before that happens. And that's fine. I also got a black stained sapling while I was doing that. And I don't know what the purpose of a black stained sapling is. It looks like you can use it to stain things, I suppose. But I don't know. I guess you just use it in place of ink. But, I mean, to what end? Do I want black stained clay for any reason? Do I want a black backpack? Is that the same as the backpack I have now? No, right now I've got the workbench backpack that sucks. I mean, it doesn't even really work that well as a backpack, does it? Maybe we should get, like, a real one. I mean, not right now. We have other things to do. Speaking of other things to do, we've got plenty of sand now, hopefully, to get the sandstone we need to finish that platform out there. Yeah, and that didn't get me nearly as far as I had thought that it would. I've been playing this game for years now, and goodness gracious me, I still have no context or concept of how much material I need to get things done. Gosh, be blessed. Also, Touch Portal stopped working. We talked in a previous episode about Touch Portal. It's sort of like the Elgato app that you can get in your phone that lets you control your computer, but instead of having to pay a dumb monthly fee, you just pay once and you got it. And don't buy it. I can't recommend it. When it works, it's great, and it's got a lot of cool customization and functionality. But in the middle of the recordings, sometimes it'll just stop working. Like, the app will still show up. I can push buttons, and I'll get some feedback letting me know that it knows I pushed the buttons, but then instead of the buttons pushing, what, how, why? Instead of that happening, it'll just not do anything. And it doesn't show that it's disconnected on the app or anything. It's just like, I'm not going to do anything. And I can close both apps, and the only way to get it working again is OBS. And you can say, well, then that's an OBS problem. The app's literally designed to do one thing, and that's allow me to control OBS. You can use it for other apps, but that's the reason I own it, and I'm just frustrated. Alright, well, we have a lot of cobblestone, and we need to go get some diamonds so that we can, build the big magnum torch, maybe a couple of them, put them all over the place. But in the meantime, I thought of a way to keep out the monsters and the rabble-rousers, and the idea is pretty straightforward. What we're going to do is we're going to build a wall. We're going to build a big cobblestone wall, a big, beautiful cobblestone wall, like no wall you've ever seen before. It's going to be beautiful. We're going to put it out there. We've got plenty of cobblestone. It's not going to look nice. It's not going to look pretty. It's going to be economical. It's going to be affordable. It's a beautiful wall. We're going to keep the monsters out. Most of the time when I build things in Minecraft, they're sort of a uniform height, a uniform shape. And with this wall, I want to do something a little bit different. I'm going to have it follow the curvature of the land. So instead of having it all be just like, it goes all the way up and down, but when you look at it, it's straight across the top. I'm going to do it a certain height up, and then, how far am I going to go with this? Wait a minute. The idea was that I would block off the jungle with it, but now I'm starting to question, am I going to have to do a turn up here? What am I going to do? I sort of wanted it to go from one ocean to the other, but there's no ocean that way. I might have to, deviate a bit, kind of cut in. It doesn't matter. You know how the Great Wall of China, it rolls up and down with the hills and the mountains? That's what we're going for here. Well, this is unfortunate. Just right into the oil. Just right in. Now, the idea here is once the magnum torches are out, and I did say torches, I want to build a few of them. They'll prevent monsters from spawning on the, this side of the wall. What is that? So what is north? That's north? So we live on the east side. We don't want any monsters coming in from the west side. Which is, I think, what West Side Story is about, isn't it? It's not. It's not what West Side Story is about. Oh man, this oil's spilling right out into the ocean. That is just not a good sign. In case y'all haven't noticed, I did decide that we would go all the way to the ocean with this. And even though it does just kind of end right here, and anything can go around it. I feel like the purpose of the wall isn't to stop monsters, it's to send a message. To Xi Jinping. Hey, buddy, this is how you build a great wall. Also, you look like Winnie the Pooh. I know you already know that. That's why you banned Winnie the Pooh merchandise and movies. Because you got tired of people telling you that. And you're an insane little egotistical brat who does things like that when people hurt his feelings. And it's now completed in both directions. But it's not that grandiose yet. So we've got to sort of take it to the next level now. We gotta elevate. And at long last, after several days in-game, 3 days, I've gone to bed 3 times, the wall is finished. It is, on average, 5 blocks high. And as you can see, it follows the earth. Where there's a hill, it goes up with it. Where the hill comes down, it also goes down. I didn't want to do anything nuts and crazy like have it go up and be, you know, like a flat, uniform height. Because that's usually what I do. I do things very in sort of straight lines. I almost considered having it sort of fold back and just sort of follow the contours of the beach. But I don't want to... my gosh, what is going on here? What is this? Oh, this is oil. This is just actually... I thought this just wasn't loaded yet, and then I realized my mistake too late. Oh gosh, there's creepers and things. We don't want to be here right now. We want to be over there at my house. Yeah, I'm trying to loosen things up, you know, and just sort of follow oh, that looks cool. The natural lines of the earth a little bit more. That creeper is just right there, though, so we're gonna follow the natural lines of this house. Alright, well, allow me the opportunity to run for my life and give you all a grand tour now that the sun is up, and I'm gonna deal with these two, but I do want to lead them away from the house first. Well, one of them lost interest in me. Come here, you. I feel like... Have they gotten harder to get away from in recent years, or is that my imagination? Ooh, there we go. It does help that you can spam click them. I'll give it that. So as you can see, it's rather porous. This allows us to see through, and the monsters on the outside can look in here and see how much fun we're having, and we can look out there and see how sort of miserable it is living in the woods. And we're going to try to kill this guy. He's going to kill me, though, isn't he? He's just gone. He's gone. He's gone. Gosh darn it, I'll never catch one of these guys. I mean, we can make our own ender pearls, so it's not like it matters. But, by gum. Oh, he's just shooting off all over the place. Where'd he go? Little dude! Little dude! Nah, Shrek it. Get away from my carrots, you swine! Aren't you supposed to hate cats? That's what we need to have, just an abhorrent amount of cats. And yes, I am using that word correctly, because I want a number of cats that is so high, people abhor it. People are like, oh my gosh, that's just not natural. I can smell it from here. That's what I want. Not only is the wall done, but so is my great big platform. And now, the next plan for the great big platform is to finish this ring all the way around the volcano, because that's going to look just, swell. And then we got to box the whole thing in, fence it all in somehow. I haven't decided how we're going to do that, although I guess we'll just bring this fence kind of all the way around, and that'll be just fine. And then we're going to add a roof coming off of here, and maybe we'll put the roof around the entire volcano as well. And that'll be sort of like a fashion statement a bit. And there will be lava on the roof. No, we're going to have to trap the lava. Well, I guess the lava is going into the ocean over here, so we'll have the roof. Maybe we won't have it go all the way around. Maybe the porch will only go around like 3/5 of the volcano. And then the other 2/5 over here will just continue to have lava spewing out of them and looking kind of grandiose, because I appreciate that. And when that's all said and done, we're going to have the greatest volcano base in the world. And we can start work on other projects. I'm thinking we might not work, though, on the roof for lava. Well, no, I'd like to. We might work on that next time, so we can eventually get everything moved in there. Because I'd like to get everything moved in. Look at the wall on the horizon. Isn't it beautiful? You might ask, why didn't I just sort of wall in a path between here and there? And then maybe like a little wall in the garden area. But, that's thinking small, friends, and we don't do that around here. Thank you folks for watching. God bless you, and I'll see you later. Bye!